Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into something a lot of us are going through or will go through. And it can feel, honestly, like a bit of a confusing time. We're talking perimenopause and menopause
Hmm.
and trying to figure out what's happening and what you can actually do about it. So to help us with that, we're looking at a brand new book.
Yes, this is How to Menopause. Take charge of your health, reclaim your life, and feel even better than before by Tamsen Fadal. And if that title doesn't grab you, I don't know what will.
It's a pretty great title.
Yeah.
It's right to the point, which I appreciate. And it's got a foreword by Dr. Lisa Mosconi, who we've talked about before. So already that's a good sign.
Definitely. And you know how it is, right? You hit your 40s, maybe even late 30s for some, and things start to shift. But getting clear, reliable information can be a challenge.
Oh, for sure. It feels like everyone's got an opinion, but who do you actually listen to?
Yeah.
What Tamsin's done here is really cool, though.
Yeah.
She's brought in 42 experts to weigh in.
Wow, that's a lot of experts.
Right. We're talking neuroscientists, physicians, therapists, sleep specialists, you name it. She even has lifestyle mentors in there.
So it's not just about the medical side of things.
Nope, it's about everything. How menopause impacts your whole life, from work to relationships. And just so everyone knows, this book is super fresh. It came out just this week, March 25th, 2025.
Well, that's good to know. It's not like some outdated advice from who knows when.
Exactly. And Tamsin herself is a bit of a rock star. Emmy-winning journalist, big advocate for women's health. She even did that PBS documentary, The M Factor, shredding the silence on menopause.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that. Really powerful stuff.
It was. So she's not just an author. She's someone who's been in the trenches fighting to get this conversation out in the open.
And that journalist background has to be so helpful, right? I mean, taking all that complicated medical stuff and making it understandable for the everyday person.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what we're aiming for in this deep dive, too. Giving you the key takeaways, the stuff that you can use right now to feel more control of your own journey through menopause.
So what are some of the big things that jumped out at you from the book?
Well, the first thing that really struck me was how much emphasis there is on being your own advocate, especially when it comes to healthcare. It's like knowledge is power,
Right.
right?
Right. Because so many women feel dismissed or misunderstood by their doctors when it comes to these issues.
Exactly. And the book goes into detail about all sorts of options for managing symptoms. Hormone therapy, supplements, lifestyle changes. It's not one size fits all. It's about finding what works for you.
And I'm guessing it doesn't shy away from the tougher topics either, like sleep problems or changes in intimacy.
Nope, it tackles them head on. There's a whole section on sleep, which, let's be honest, can be a nightmare during menopause.
Tell me about it. The hot flashes alone are enough to keep you up all night.
Seriously. And then there's the whole intimacy thing. Your body's changing. Your libido might be different. It can be hard to talk about, even with your partner.
It can be.
Yeah.
But it's so important to have those conversations.
Absolutely. And the book gives you some tips on how to approach those conversations, which I think is really helpful. It also goes into a lot of detail about those physical changes we were talking about.
Like weight gain, hair loss, dry skin, all that fun stuff.
All of it. But it doesn't feel doom and gloom, you know? It's more like, here's what's happening, here's how to adapt. There's advice on style, workouts, even recipes. It's about feeling good in your body, whatever stage you're at.
That's refreshing because so much of the messaging around menopause is negative.
Totally. And that's another thing I loved about this book. It really feels like it's trying to normalize the whole conversation around menopause. You're not alone in this.
That's such a crucial message because it can feel so isolating.
For sure. Even Halle Berry said, this book is like the menopause Bible. She said every woman will see herself reflected in these pages.
Wow, coming from Halle Berry, that's quite an endorsement.
It is. And it's not just her. Dr. Mosconi, in the foreword, she calls the book a lifeline.
That's powerful.
It is. And there's this one part that I really want to highlight. The book talks about the years after menopause as the golden years.
The golden years, I like that.
Right. It's not about decline. It's about this new phase where you can be even stronger and more confident.
I love that reframing because so often it feels like society tells women, once you hit menopause, you're kind of past your prime.
Totally. But this book is saying, no way, you're just getting started.
So besides Halle Berry and Dr. Mosconi, who else is raving about this book?
Oh, there are tons of big names. Dr. Sharon Malone, she's an amazing doctor, been a leader in women's health for decades. And Dr. Mary Claire Haver, she's another big voice in the menopause world.
What about celebrities? Anyone else besides Halle Berry?
Yeah, Naomi Watts has been talking about it a lot. She's really passionate about making menopause less of a taboo topic.
It's great to see those kinds of voices speaking up.
It really is. And I
Yeah.
think it speaks to the power of this book, that it's resonating with so many different people.
Definitely. It sounds like Tamsen's really tapped into something important here.
She has. And, it makes sense, given her background. This isn't just some random project for her. She's been advocating for women's health for a long time.
Yeah, we talked about her documentary.
And her podcast, The Tamsen Show. Plus, she's a certified holistic health coach. She's really walking the walk, not just talking the talk. He's also very involved with this organization, Let's Talk Menopause. So she's really dedicated to this issue.
That's impressive. It sounds like she's really put her heart and soul into this book.
She definitely has. It's a pretty hefty book, by the way, 384 pages. So it's a deep dive, for sure. But there's also a Kindle version and an audiobook. So you can choose whatever format works best for you.
That's good because not everyone wants to lug around a huge book. Although, I have to admit, I still love the feel of a real book in my hands.
Me too. But sometimes it's just more practical to have it on your phone or listen to it while you're walking the dog, whatever works, right?
Exactly. So, to sum it all up, this deep dive into how to menopause has really left me feeling like, okay, maybe this transition doesn't have to be so scary.
Right. There's help out there. There's information.
Right.
And there are ways to make this a positive experience.
And most importantly, you're not alone.
Absolutely. So, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to think about. What if we, as a society, could really change the conversation around menopause? What if it wasn't this hush-hush thing, but something we could talk about openly and honestly?
That would be amazing. It would take so much pressure off women.
It really would. And it would open up so many possibilities for better support, better research, even better self-care. Because when we share our experiences and our knowledge, everyone benefits.
I completely agree. It's time to break the silence around menopause.
It definitely is. So if you're feeling intrigued by anything we've talked about today, I encourage you to check out How to Menopause by Tamsen Fadal. It might just change your whole perspective on this chapter of your life. And until next time, keep diving deep.